How to advance from CT11 to CT15 if you have techno. So, I explained the build in my last video, but as far as progressing through the challenge tiers, every time you move up in a challenge tier, the next set of drops is going to be a higher item level, right? So right now I'm 15 enemies and the loot level is going to be 50. But if I was, say I'm you and I am in tier 10 and I'm trying to move up to tier 11. So I go and do a tier 11, but all my gear is level 44. It's super important that when you unlock the ability to do a tier 11, even if you might not be able to do it, right? Your damage might not be there, your survivability might not be there, your speed might not be there. You have to keep running the next highest level that you possibly can over and over again, because when you lose, even if you don't succeed, even if you die, you're going to get a consolation chest. And that's going to contain stuff from everything you've killed up until that point in the expedition. And it's all going to be this loot level. What you don't want to do is like, say you can't get through CT 11. You're not able to complete this. You don't want to drop it to CT 10 and repeatedly run those because you can complete them. You want to run the one that you're not going to be able to do. And so it doesn't matter how long it takes you. If you're running my Blighted Rounds build, you should be like solid. If you just listen, if you go and watch my build video and put those pieces on, like you're going to be solid from a gear perspective, even if you're all in all blues. I mean, you guys saw my streams. I was in mostly blues all the way up until CT 14. And then I needed to, then you need some epics to really get the gold time down. But you want to run this. And basically what you want to do is you want to make sure that you just pick a map that you really like and that's doable for you. For me, Chem Plant is like, I think it's, I mean, I have it down to a science at this point. I think it's a really easy one to try and push for good gold times on. So for me, like you don't want, if you're trying to climb your expeditions, don't go and do every single one or try like, I mean, you can try different ones to start out with and see which ones you like, but you don't have to go and do like multiple expeditions to get that tier up. You just have to be able to do one expedition really well. And so for me, that was Chem Plant, right? Like, see, I still haven't even bothered completing these other ones because this one is like such an easy time for me. So you want to do that one expedition and get it down to a science. Like, try and just figure out, okay, how can I make, what route can I take to make enemies go this way and have it go a little bit faster? And that's after you have your build all sorted out, right? But basically, if I was CT14 and I couldn't get this done in time, I would go and I'd push as far as humanly possible. And then when I fail, make sure you go and check the like consolation chest that you get at the end. Then it's going to give you a bunch of epics. It's going to give you a bunch of blues. If you guys aren't aware, you do get rewards even if you lose or you don't time something. If you abandon it, it ends up like right here at your Outriders base. And you just open it up and it drops a bunch of epics and blues. And if you retry, it should be like right where you spawn when you retry. But you want to go and start stacking those blues on your gear. You want to make it so, okay, I'm going into CT15 and all the gear that's going to be dropping is level 50. Cool, I'm going to put on whatever level 50 blues I can possibly get so that I can bump my level up, bump my firepower up, everything, so that I'm able to complete it faster and be tankier. And I'm telling you, if you're running techno, go and watch the build video. And because that takes the worrying about your mods all out of the equation. Just put on those staple mods that I said. Even if you're running blues, it's totally fine. And it really just comes down to execution after that. But what I did, and you can go back and look at the streams, I push as hard as I can, I run, and if I fail, open up the consolation chest, add on whatever you can, make sure it has the stats that you want. But I would leave the expedition and I check the vendor religiously. I even check it religiously now. I mean, earlier you guys saw I picked up another god roll. I picked up these god roll boots because the vendor is going to have gear that is at that new tier. So you said you were stuck on like CT11, right? So the vendor's going to have all CT11 gear. It's going to be that increased level. So you want to pay attention to this refresh so that if she has an epic or something that's good for you, you can go and pick it up and just immediately get a big bump into that next tier, right? What I will say is the mods that you're putting on make a difference. They really do. And the way that the firepower and stuff scales makes a huge difference. I'm sure looking at your CT11 build, like it's probably what does it have like 2,000 firepower on those items? I can't remember off the top of my head, but like it scales exponentially. So even if you're down 2 levels, if all of your gear is level 48 and you're trying to complete something that's level 49 or you're trying to complete something that's level 50, you're going to be doing your damage is going to be terrible, like terrible. I mean, you see me. I crit these guys with 1.3 million crits. It takes like 7 shots of 1.3 million in order to actually take these guys down. You can't afford to have a lower item level piece. And so when people are hitting a wall, it is your gear, straight up. Unless you're just like dying to silly stuff, that just comes with practice. But there's no such thing as bullet sponges in this game. Like everything has a crit spot. I am all the way CT15, golding every single time on that chem plant map, and there's no such thing as a bullet sponge. If you're encountering anything that remotely resembles a bullet sponge, it means that your gear sucks. So you need to work on improving your gear, and the only way to do that is just keep ramming your head against that wall until you get the appropriate gear that you need. And then once you actually get gear appropriate, you're gonna fly through that level straight up. And then when you get to CT12 or 13, when you need to start getting silvers, then you push your build a little bit further. You push it a little bit further, push it a little bit further. And then I guess the final suggestion I'll make is I wouldn't bother, like the gear that you get, if it doesn't have the stats that you want, I wouldn't dismantle it. I would sell it because while you're leveling up, you want to get the money to be able to afford the vendor stuff when you get it. And the vendor stuff, the prices go up a lot, right? This is 300K. I mean, I'm capped right now because I haven't been buying it as much, but you're going to want to make sure you have that money. So you just go into your inventory, click everything as dismantle, and then take it to Bailey or take it to the other guy and sell it. So again, push and push and push as hard as you can. Even if you fail, make sure you pick up the chest for the consolation prize and then just keep pushing. And when you exit the expedition, go check both of these vendors and then go right back in. Over and over and over again. And I'm telling you, you're going to climb. If you just follow those things. Pick a map that you really like and learn it. Check the vendors. Make sure your gear is up to date. That is my suggestion for climbing these challenge tiers. I promise you, if you take care of all of those, and if you're running techno especially, if you go look at my build video, you're going to see, like, you're going to be able to clear it easily. If you can put those 5 mods on, any epics that you get where you can add more on, wonderful. It's just going to increase your timer. But beyond that, that is how you're going to climb challenge tiers. Okay, pick a level that you like. Personally, I like Chem Plant because there's a limited amount of bullcrap mobs that you have to handle. And with Techno, you can handle this really well and safely. Like, even on my worst runs, when I screw up or I'm taking my time, I'm clearing this, 2 or 3 minutes before the actual timer for gold. But for you don't even have to hit gold, You can just, the key is to just keep ramming your head against those challenge tier levels. This is CT15, right? I hope I changed it back when I was doing that. But does that kind of answer your question? I hope it does. I hope that should help you climb. And I just recorded this, so I'll put this up on the channel as well with the build video probably later today, so that anybody that wants to do it, I'm telling you, you watch these 2 videos and you're going to be set. You're going to be climbing through, you're going to be flying through the challenge tiers. And then once you get up to CT15, I'm still just running against this this chem plant map because it's a super easy time for me. I can understand where the enemies spawn, and I can be a little bit riskier. And you're gonna have to be riskier as you move on if you want to get those better times. And sometimes I get myself in a little bit of trouble, but if you're running those mods and you're you're listening to what I'm saying, you're gonna have a solid time. I mean, Shrikant doesn't even have the game yet. I guarantee you, he's seen me run this so many times that he could do it in his sleep once he actually does get the game. So, Nur, I hope that helps you out, and make sure you go check out that build video too. So, as always, if you guys found this video to be useful, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitch, follow me on YouTube, subscribe, check out my my streams. I'm streaming on YouTube and Twitch like pretty much 24/7 right now, so you can ask any questions you want, and subscribe for the algorithm and everything. So that's it for me. Adamocles out.